Welcome back. It's exactly 12:33 and we're now going to be talking to someone who is in KZN. She is Agie Govender, a social worker and regional manager at CHOC. And if you don't know what CHOC stands for, it's obviously childhood cancer. And she's going to talk to us about an initiative, Small Steps, Life-Changing Impact. And of course, it's all about cancer in children. Agie Govender, a very good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Okay, we are going to talk about the initiative that you guys are running, and undoubtedly you do this all the time. You have lots of awareness campaigns, fundraisers, and a whole host of awareness, not only in the community, but I should imagine you go to schools as well because you're talking childhood cancers. How widespread is this in South Africa?
So we can talk about how widespread it is. International statistics that speaks to the incidence of childhood cancer. There's they say 1 in 600 children will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. So it is quite a small number. But if you think of the number of children under the age of 16, we expect a diagnosis of up to 1,200 children diagnosed annually. Actually, we expect 2,500, but we get 1,200 only. So our main aim, our heartbeat is to create awareness on the early warning signs of childhood cancer. That's basically South African statistics because most of our children are not situated in an urban area, do not have access to media. And so when they do get diagnosed, it's quite late for children.
You are a social worker by profession and you've spent nearly 4 decades in the NGO sector. The last 17 years has been focused on childhood cancers and working at CHOC. Why are you so dedicated to this particular area, to CHOC in specific?
Specifically in CHOC. So I've worked the gamut of social work. And I've always, as much as I'm scared of children, I eventually, about 25 years ago, entered the field of children. And I worked in children's homes and I worked in, NGOs where the children were removed. And child welfare usually focuses on protection of children. They are child protection agencies. And 17 years ago, when I walked into CHOC, I realized that with children with cancer, it's a life-threatening blood disorder. If you don't come in early, if you don't get treated early, the chances of survival is instantly reduced. And I felt a sense of, in my time in the field of social work, I must create as much awareness, or I must be able to be in a team that creates as much awareness, because no child should die from a diagnosis that in the first world countries has a 95% survival rate, and in emerging economies has a 20% survival rate. Although South Africa is moving closer to the 50% survival rate. But the thing is, the more underdeveloped your country is, the chances of your child dying, and no parent should lose a child. And as I encountered parents over the years, I had a deep feeling and a deep empathy for parents who've gone through the grief stages, who've lost their children. Because sometimes, even though it might be diagnosed early, the cancer is so aggressive, especially with tumors, that nothing can be done. So I had a sense of, how did these parents survive another day without their darlings, without their precious children? So that has kept me in this agency, and I absolutely feel blessed to be in an agency that focuses on this. And I always think every day, if CHOC were not around, what would happen to the children who are diagnosed, and where would their parents be? Where would they stay? How would they get to us? So we offer more than just accommodation. We have several programs that support children with cancer.
I know the focus of today's interview is all about a flip flop day. We will get to that in a minute or two, but I think I'm just trying to sketch a background for our viewers, for them to understand the gravity of childhood cancers. And I might also add that I've been in media for a very, very long time. And back in the day, I used to talk on a regular basis with Sadie Cutland from your Johannesburg offices.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely. So we've done many, many talks on childhood cancer, but um, this is not something that you talk about once off 3 years ago, 5 years ago, or today or tomorrow, and then you forget about it. I think this needs to be talked about on a regular basis. I think these type of discussions give hope to parents who have children with cancer, and also make them more empathetic, and also this awareness hopefully will help parents whose child presents with cancer to take the matter seriously enough, and like you indicated, early treatment, early intervention can save and will save the child's life.
Allow me
Aggie?
to say that I'm honored to be speaking to you. If you've spoken to Sadie Cutland, I'm really honored. I feel honored to be sitting in the same chair, so to speak. Because Sadie Cutland, one of the founders of CHOC with their husband, Julian Cutland, have been the heartbeat of CHOC. And one of the things that as CHOC, as part of our constitution, is that in our committees, we must have parents, the parent component of CHOC, because although we speak when the voice of the parent is dimmed during diagnosis, but when they are on the road to recovery, we want parents to take the baton and speak on behalf of their children, because it is such a deep expression of an illness that I've seen so many illnesses working in this, in the hospital setting and watching other diseases and diagnosis. But child with cancer has such an emotional component to it that only a parent can speak from their very heart about how dreadful this diagnosis, how it impacts not only on the child, but the immediate family and people around the extended family, and has a ripple effect for life, because never in the life of that child or that parent that even just an ordinary cough would be seen as an ordinary cough. It's always the worst case scenario, what is happening beyond the cough. So yes, no, in terms of this particular illness, we have to speak about it often, because the more often we speak about it, the more we may create awareness of this life-threatening blood disorder.
When you talk about parents, and these talks need to be coming from the hearts of the parents, and CHOC does insist that parents are the voice behind all of the campaigns and promotions. What also came through for me is the parent of a child with childhood disease kind of lives their life on a state of alertness, because like you indicated, a little cough, which other parents would just dismiss as an allergy or a slight cold or a mild cold, can't be. I think a parent of a child with childhood cancer can't take that laid back stance. They have to be so alert, because if they don't tend to the child, serious repercussions could set in.
You've summarized exactly what a parent goes through, and it's a lifelong thing. From the point of diagnosis, the shock, all the stages of until they come to a point of acceptance, all the stages of grief is in play already, and constantly being on hypervigilant, on high alert, constantly aware that any little thing can be the beginning of something further. And it takes, I've seen parents who've lost children and have managed to walk in these shoes for years, and deal with it in a way that's a sort of acceptance, but not. And I've seen children whose parents who had the diagnosis of cancer also an acceptance, but not always waiting, always watching, always, in that state of alertness. And it's
Mhm.
never going to change. It's never going to be any different until they come to that point where, we, as humans, we always have to come to a point of, okay, I have to accept what's going on and I have to deal with it. But it's a very difficult journey, and no parent who's ever lost a child ever comes back. Neither do the siblings ever come back from that.
Of course, it leaves a void and a hole in your heart that nothing can fill or replace. Even if God has blessed you with other children, that void and that hole will is irreplaceable. God protect and save all of our children from this dreaded disease or any other dreaded disease. And for those parents and families that are going through childhood cancers, please, God, watch over them. Give them the strength, give them the courage. Before we go for an ad break, Aggie, let me ask you this question. So, how do you, um, the regional manager of CHOC, and all of your staff deal with the trauma? Because you healthcare workers, you are trained to deal with the situations. You're trained to deal with trauma as well, but it must have an impact on you. How do you guys debrief, desensitize, just make yourself stronger? What is the trick there?
What is the trick? It's strangely strange. It's an interesting question that you ask, because who cares for the caregivers, how we deal with it? We all agree that beyond shock, we don't discuss childhood cancer. It's not a conversation around the table. It's not something that we have a light-hearted discussion about. It's like we are frozen in time. And the only people we can talk about it to is our colleagues, because we share a common a common um, a common experience. We've seen children who come in here and they're all excited, they like any other child, and in a day we can see the child in ICU. We can see a child who's in ICU, and a few weeks later we can see them active. We've seen a beautiful young child who came in and she showed us pictures. She was only 7 years old. She lived in an area called Lamontville, and she was so feisty. When I first met her, she was absolutely feisty with my staff, just saying anything she could say because she had a brain tumor that was impacting a part of her brain that took away every bit of empathy from her. And this child was so gorgeous, and mom showed us pictures. She loved her Barbie and her beautiful clothing. And when she was diagnosed, everything, she lost everything, because cancer, it's so bad that it takes away everything that you count as precious. And this child, as young as she was, she knew it. And our staff had such a commitment to her. And, we'd buy Future Life for her because she couldn't eat, and she just connected with us. And us watching this child, a whole body change, her mannerism changed, the way in which she interacted changed, had such a profound impact on all of us that none of us could talk about the story beyond now that I'm sharing it with you, that my staff were traumatized and are consistently traumatized. So a mother would experience her child having an issue on a particular day, the bloods are low and the child has got broken, the mother has bad news. With one mother, we experience it with all our mothers on an ongoing basis every day. So we do a lot of team building, we do a lot of fun activities, we do a lot of celebrations, just to create a sense of like, to normalize our life, because it's an abnormal life. It's a very abnormal life, and it impacts on families, our own families as well. So we keep it to ourselves and we share. Gosh, I could talk a lot about this. Let me just stop on that one.
No, I think that's exactly why I have you on the show, because I need all of this interaction. And apart from keeping it to yourselves, I should imagine that you have also briefing sessions or debriefing sessions with your staff because sometimes you can actually see the visible impact it has on the medical support staff. So that does happen, I should imagine. But let's go for an ad break. When we come back, we'll talk some more.
Thank you.
Advisory service from an award. Look no further than the Belmont Mayer Group, your gateway to unparalleled investment and wealth management. At Belmont Mayer, we believe in the art of wealth creation, a meticulous process fueled by our unwavering commitment to excellence, with a focus on providing an experience.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic, Sharia, and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
With Ashraful Aid this Ramadan, your zakat changes lives. It feeds families facing hunger, restores dignity to the need, and brings hope where it is needed most. From food relief to essential support, your zakah reaches communities with care, transparency, and impact. Give with confidence, give with trust. Make your zakah count this Ramadan. Give your zakah to Ashraful Aid and help change lives today.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Welcome back. We're talking with Agie Govender. She is a social worker and regional manager at CHOC in KZN. We're talking childhood cancers. And of course, Agie, thank you so much for sharing all of that very valuable information with us this morning, and how this medical staff at CHOC get all the necessary support when they lose a patient, or there's nothing more they can do for a particular patient, and also dealing with the mothers and the fathers and the siblings. It does take its toll. So we salute one and all of you. God bless. God watch over you all, please. But let's now talk about something that's a bit light-hearted, and let's talk about Flip-Flop Day. What is it all about? It sounds like a lot of fun. And what is the idea behind the campaign?
The idea behind the campaign is that a little goes a long way. And if we get together as a community, we can ensure that programs that are so relevant, like the ones we do at CHOC can see the light of day. So in order to give you some context as to the fundraising itself, we provide transport for children with cancer and their families so they don't default from treatment. We provide food vouchers to families so the children can have the correct nutritious meals. We also provide a bereavement support when the child passes away due to cancer diagnosis, and we provide accommodation. All of our programs in our country, throughout the country, is completely free of charge to the beneficiary. Most of our beneficiaries are extremely poor and come from deep rural areas. And in most cases, if they do not have CHOC to be near treatment units, and all the services we provide, they would abandon treatment. They would try, they wouldn't abandon it but they would try, but they would not be able to make it because of the distance of traveling. So in order to ensure that our programs continue, Flip Flop Day is our national fundraising campaign. It's just a matter of schools getting involved, companies getting involved and buying stickers. You can buy, schools, for example, would take 1,000 stickers. Each child will purchase a sticker for 10 Rand, wear it on the 20th of February or around that date, whichever is suitable, so that they could raise funds to give to CHOC in order for us to survive. Remember, we don't get any government subsidy, and it's quite heartbreaking for us not to have any subsidy from government because of it's difficult. But in order for us to survive, our fundraisers are extremely important. And it's 10 Rand a sticker. It doesn't cost a lot. It creates a collective consciousness where people together on one morning get together and say, hey, we're doing this for children with cancer who cannot go to school, who cannot learn, who are now stuck in a hospital for months on end or weeks on end. And this is what we're going to do for you.
Okay, can I take you a step back, please? You indicated
Sure.
that you support families mainly from rural areas. You see to all of their needs, transport, food, medication, etc. What about a family who can afford maybe not all the very expensive medication and treatment, but are a working class family and decide to come to CHOC for help simply because they know of your amazing support structure? Would you open your doors to them?
Yes, no, it's not only rural. Let me just correct that piece of information. I said most of our families come from deep rural but any child with cancer, any child or teen with cancer falls under the purview of CHOC. And what we found over the years that a person can even have medical aid. They can go to a private doctor, a private hematologist or oncologist, and still cannot afford bus fare or transport, or still have problems in providing a meal. So our services extend to them. We do not provide medication and we don't pay for medication because all our children go to government hospitals and the medication comes via the government hospitals. So most of their medications are paid for. When it comes to medications, there are other NGOs maybe that will support them, but it is quite expensive. So in terms of the services we offer, a person can have medical aid but still have our accommodation. They can still stay at CHOC. We have, and in those parents, say for example, I just want to use a Muslim family for example, because CHOC relies on donations, we would get donations that's not suitable for their dietary concerns. So we would link them up with a Muslim family or a Muslim prepared meals that can assist them. And in cases of maybe other families that have dietary concerns, we normally provide for those all of the common needs, but if there are specific needs, we also support that. We will also refer a family if we cannot support them to an NGO that focuses on a specific need. For example, if a family has to fly to Cape Town for a blood transfusion, for a bone marrow transplant, we will connect them to Wings and Wishes. So we have other NGOs with the specific stuff that we can refer to.
Wow. Awesome. Amazing. Let's now focus on Flip Flop Day. Is this a national initiative? and people who've not heard of this before, let's assume big companies or certain schools that weren't aware of it, how can they reach out to become a part of this amazing day?
So the easiest way is to go onto www.choc.org.za. And there you get the information on Flip Flop Day. And obviously, if you are in KZN, we would love for you to connect with KZN because each region raises funds. You can connect directly with me, and I'll give you my information at the end. And if you go to www.choc.org.za, you would be able to buy your stickers online. It'll be couriered to you. As you want extra, it'll be couriered to you. So there's no problem in terms of the seamlessness in which you would get your stickers. We also have other things, item on sales like pens and the famous stress balls that we all need, and other items that you can purchase. If you're a teacher and you want to purchase pens, etc., or you're in the medical fraternity or a company you want to purchase pens for Flip Flop Day, you're most welcome to buy it as well.
On the 28th of February, are you asking the nation to wear flip-flops on that day in support of childhood cancer?
On the 20th of February, we're asking the nation. Yes.
Okay.
On the 20th of February, we're saying to the nation, please wear flip-flop and have a heart and soul for children with cancer. If you cannot wear flip-flop, that's okay. Wear a badge so that you can show your support for children with cancer. We also have partners. I don't know if I can mention the partners on air that are supporting, but that's can I?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, so Techie Tax as well. If you've got Techie Tax around in your area, you can buy stickers from them. They've been our partners for years, and the courier company will courier the stuff directly to you.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap up now. I've got to say goodbye to you, Agie Govender. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. You truly speak from the heart, and I can see and hear how committed you are to CHOC. God bless you. Anything else you'd like to share with us before I say my goodbyes to you?
I want to say thank you to Salam Media, and I want to say thank you to you. It was such a pleasure meeting you. I can hear that you have a heart, and I'm so grateful that you brought CHOC out and created some opportunity for us to speak about the work we do. Thank you, and God bless you too, and
Thank
your
you
listeners.
so much. Okay, if you do speak to Sadie, I understand she's retired or semi-retired.
Yes.
Do say hello to her from me.
I am sending a message as soon as I'm off air.
You go well. God bless you all. Take care and continue your amazing work. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
It's exactly 1:01. Thank you for keeping me company over the past 2 hours. I truly enjoyed all of the interviews today. They were informative, and they show us here at Salam Media that there are very many people out in the community working hard to make a difference, be it the environment, be it in the medical space, whatever it is that they're doing, they are working hard to make a difference. And of course, encouraging youth and upskilling youth in our communities. So God bless one and all. From me, Julie Ali, take care on the roads till you and I get together again Monday morning at 8 o'clock on News and Views. God be with you. Assalamu alaikum and Khuda Hafiz.